welcome back. As you can see if you've watched any of my other videos, I'm kind of filming in a different spot in my room today, kind of just more at a different angle. So I think this tapestry behind me, which is actually really cool, it's from Urban Outfitters, but I think it's kind of making my coloring a little bit weird. So I'm going to try to fix that for future videos, but for right now, just bear with me because I really did want to get this filmed and up. As you can tell from the title, I'm going to be doing the tattoos and piercings tag, or like a tattoos and piercings video, because as far as I can tell, the tattoos and piercings tag is really just talking about your tattoos and piercings, and I have both, so I figured this would be a good video to do, especially because my tattoo is on my arm, obviously, so it's very visible in my videos, and I felt like I should kind of just explain it really quickly. But I'll get to that last. I'm just gonna start with my piercings. So I don't want to make this video like super long. I have 10 piercings and it would take a really long time just to kind of go through all of them in a lot of detail. So I think I'm basically just gonna try to tell you when I got them. I'm gonna give you like a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of pain, if they've ever been infected. Not to be gross, but I feel like people want to know that, especially if you're considering any of these piercings. And yeah, so I guess I'll just get started. My first piercings were just really boring. My first piercings in my first ear, my first holes, and then right after that, a few years later, I got my second holes. Both of those were like a 2 in pain. They did not hurt at all. The way I described it when I got it is like it doesn't hurt, but you can definitely feel that it's there afterwards. Like it definitely puts some pressure and you can feel it a little bit. They really weren't a big deal, so if you don't have your ears pierced, that's totally up to you, but don't let the fear of pain stop you if it's something that you want to do. Those are really not painful at all. They were pretty boring, so those were just my first piercings. And then I also got a few years later a third piercing, and this year I do not wear an earring in it just because they did it a little bit too close to my second hole. I'm pretty sure it's still open. I just don't wear anything in it, so that was about the same. It was a little higher up, so I would say it was like a 2.5 instead of a 2, but I don't really know. It was, again, pretty basic, and I got all of those done with a gun, not a needle. So yeah, and you can get those done just like at Claire's or something. My mom's friend did my first holes because she's a doctor, and then I got my second and third done at Claire's. The next piercing I got was on this ear. I'm going to lean in a little bit so you can see it. That's what it is. It's kind of just in the middle of my ear. I actually got that one out of the country. I was in Israel on a school trip, I believe. You weren't really supposed to get any piercings, but like literally everybody did. So yeah, I got that. My best friend got it as well. Everybody told me that that was gonna be like the most painful piercing of my whole entire life. It 100% was not. It wasn't painful at all. It's probably like a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10, and it's like right below my cartilage, so it's not technically a cartilage piercing, so I don't think those are that dangerous. I know once you get into your cartilage, you really do have to be careful, and I definitely recommend always going to a really clean, reputable place, because you really don't want to take a chance with these things just because they're pretty basic, but if they go wrong, they can be like super traumatic. And the same goes with tattoos, but I'll get into that a little bit more kind of at the end. I'm trying to think what the next one I got after that was. The next one I got after that must have been my nose, because I didn't have that many piercings when I got my nose pierced. So as you can see, I have my nose pierced. You might have noticed that in my other videos, or if this is your first video of mine that you're watching, hi, I have my nose pierced. I got that like 3 days after I turned 18. My birthday is September 9th, so I must have gotten this like the 12th or something, and I was so excited. I wanted my nose pierced for so long, and my parents said, we're not going to take you, but once you're 18, it's your body and you can do what you want. So I got this done right after my 18th birthday. It really did not hurt. I would really say it was like a 5 or a 6 on a scale of 1 to 10, and it was more like uncomfortable than painful. Like I definitely felt it. I got it done with a needle instead of a gun, which I definitely recommend because I've heard that it is more dangerous to get it done with a gun, and honestly a needle did not hurt. I don't understand why you wouldn't do it with a needle if there's even any questions about having it done with a gun. So yeah, basically they just put the needle through, and then a like little, I guess like a little tube thing, and then they put the needle through, they put the tube like on the, it's hard to explain. They put this little like metal tube thing on the inside of your nose just to make sure they don't go through too far and pierce your septum. Let's say rupture your septum, I'm pretty sure that means something different. But no, so they don't pierce your septum, which to me seems like it would be super painful, but never had it, so I don't really know. But yes, yeah, so they put something in there, and then they basically put the needle through, and then they drop the needle through the little tube, and they stick an earring in, or a nose ring in, I mean, whatever. I didn't change my nose ring for like the longest time. I had like the twisty kind they pierce it with. If you've ever had your nose pierced or seen somebody with a nose piercing, you know what I mean. It kind of is like twisted. I don't really know how else to explain it. It has like a little circle on the inside, and it basically makes sure it doesn't like come out or anything. It hurts a little when you first take that one out to change it, but after that you can just get ones that are like the little hook, and those really don't hurt at all to change. It's not that serious. Like anything else, it hurts if people kind of like grab it, or if you accidentally go to like knock it out a little bit. That's not super painful. It's unpleasant, but again, like I think that's kind of standard. I just figured I should mention it. My nose was only infected one time. It was right after I got it pierced, and somebody, you know, like flew their arm up and knocked my new piercing. I totally knew it was gonna get infected from that, so it wasn't unexpected or anything. It really sucked. It was really gross. I highly recommend putting tea tree oil on it with a Q-tip. Do not pop it, pick at it, or anything. I'm so serious. You will regret it forever, and it can scar. So just use a little tea tree oil. You can find it in the hair care section at almost anywhere. You can find it like drugstores or Target. Just every day and every morning and every night, put a little bit of tea tree oil on a Q-tip and put it around where it's infected, and I promise you it will be gone in a few days. So definitely try that. Before you touch it, don't touch it if it gets infected. Really bad. Really gross. My next piercing after that was probably my tragus. I'll lean in again so you can see. This is what your tragus is. It's like kind of this inside little thing. Another thing to be very careful with, because if this goes wrong, it is really bad. So again, go to a really clean place, a really legitimate place. Just be very careful. I paid $50 for both my nose ring and my tragus. I got them at the same place, and some people say it's overpriced, some people say it's reasonable, some people say they paid way more, but I would personally rather pay more money when somebody's going to be sticking a needle into my body and know that it's going to be a clean needle and a clean facility and just stuff like that. So I would definitely recommend not doing it for like $15 in some shady basement or anything like that. I know people who have done that, and it's a bad idea. My tragus actually was my most painful piercing by a lot. And I'm just gonna say, I think it was because the guy did a bad job. I don't think it should have been as painful as it was. As is, it was probably like a 7 or 8 out of 10. I think it should have been like a 6 or a 7. The guy did a really bad job. It took him a very long time. He kind of did the whole thing like very slowly. My friend went with me, and she was literally standing there cringing, and I could see her face, and I was like, oh my god, what did I get myself into? But I really wanted it, and it was totally worth it. I love it. I love the way it looks. Like I said, it wasn't that painful, but it was definitely my most painful piercing. And again, like I said, I'm pretty sure it was way more painful than it needed to be. I did get my tragus and my nose done at the same place, but my nose was done really well by somebody else, and my tragus was done not so well by a second person. If you're able to go to somebody who you know, people who have gotten piercings or tattoos there before, I definitely recommend that, because it's always good to have kind of first-hand knowledge. And if you can't get that, definitely Google it online. There are lots of reviews. Some are honest, some might not be so honest, but it's better to go in with some knowledge rather than none, is my opinion. My next piercing, which was my last actual ear piercing, was my cartilage. It's a standard cartilage piercing. I'll move in just so you can see, but that's what it looks like. That didn't hurt at all. I was actually really surprised, because I had heard that cartilage piercings were very painful, and that was actually my first cartilage piercing, but that was not painful at all. I got it done with a gun at Claire's, which some people will literally swear against. My friend's mom, the same one who pierced my first hole, was literally appalled and freaking out and telling me like all the dangers of getting it done with a gun and all the dangers of getting it done at Claire's by somebody who, like, I guess isn't certified as well. But I didn't have any problems with it, and my sister got the same piercing like 3 days later, and she didn't have any problems with it either. So I had a really good experience at Claire's. Yeah, so I just got that done. I got that done with the gun as well, like I said. My last piercing was my belly button piercing. I'm not going to show you guys. You all know what a belly button piercing looks like. I'm sitting on my bed, and if I stood up, I would probably fall over. So I do have my belly button pierced. I love my belly button piercing. It was not painful. This is so weird and random, but I was very surprised when I got it done. They have you lay down on a table, and you lay down with your hands like under your legs so you like don't move or whatever. And so the guy goes to do the piercing, and for some reason I expected it to come through from the top, the needle, but it came up from the bottom, which I guess makes sense because you don't want to like hit the inside of your belly button or anything, but it was just really unexpected. So I'm not sure if it didn't hurt because it didn't hurt, or if it didn't hurt because I was just surprised and unprepared. But either way, my belly button I would say was probably like, again, like a 5 out of 10. I mean, I'm I'm considering 1 being like I didn't even feel it and 10 being like, oh my god, that hurt. So yeah. Also, in case you guys were curious about my pain tolerance, I just realized I should probably talk about that now that I've gone through all of my piercings. I think I have a higher pain tolerance than I think I do. I have a huge phobia of needles. I really hate stuff like getting blood drawn and shots, but I really do think that I have a higher pain tolerance than I expect. I think I psych myself out. So don't psych yourself out. These piercings really don't hurt that badly, but I don't know, like I said, I think I actually have a pretty high pain tolerance, so just bear that in mind. I guess now I will talk about my tattoo. I only have 1 tattoo. It is on my arm right here. I got it here because I wanted it to be visible, and I got it like here just because I felt like it was a good place. I didn't want it like here. I don't know why. I considered getting it kind of like on the inside of my arm, but I ended up not, and I also considered the back of my neck, but like I said, I wanted something a little bit more visible. Basically what this tattoo says is it is the word chazak, which means strong in Hebrew. I'm going to zoom in on it so you guys can see actually. So that's what it looks like. It's really small, as you can see, but I really like it. It means strong in Hebrew. I'm not sure if I just said that. And the reason I got this was because my uncle passed away and we were incredibly close, and I wanted to get something in honor of him. I'm literally like tearing up thinking about it. This was very, very recent. He passed about a month ago, and I got this tattoo about 3 weeks ago. I got it like right after I got home from the funeral. So this is just a reminder to be strong and to always remember him, and I know him and he would have gotten a huge kick out of this, especially because my mother hates tattoos, and I'm sure he would be laughing at the fact that she is so wound up about it, but she understands, and my dad really likes it, so all good there. Make sure you get your parents okay before you get tattoos. It's really not worth it to piss them off. If you want to get something that's meaningful to you, you should definitely at the very least, even if you know they're not going to be okay with it, you should at the very least like give them a heads up and explain to them kind of why you're doing it, what you want to get, just so they're not caught completely off guard, because I think it can be a little disturbing to parents. And yeah. So I know some people like tattoos, some people don't. If you hate tattoos, that is fine, and that is completely your opinion, but if you don't like this specific tattoo, please keep your comments to yourself, because like I said, it's very meaningful to me, it's very recent, and it's on my body really permanently. I did consider kind of having a visible tattoo and trying to get a job and stuff like that. I'm about to graduate college, but I just think that these days there's not as much of a stigma on having tattoos as there used to be. Also, I haven't been an English major, so I'm looking for kind of a more creative career path, so I really don't foresee it being an issue. I can always cover it up with bracelets or a watch or anything like that if I absolutely have to, but like I said, I'm really comfortable with it. I really like it, and I think it's relatively small, so I probably won't be doing that a whole lot. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. Feel free to send me to your tattoo and piercings video, because I'll definitely watch it, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!